Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, that speed's going right. This is the game by Hairy Muppet. This is not a game by Hairy Muppet, but we're casting a game. What I want to say is this is a Daily Masters cast. It's another one. Thank you very much for joining me, and I've totally lost my thread, but I'm sure we can find it again at some point. So yes, it's going to be a PvZ. It's going to be actually two players, which I'm really a big fan of. Now, I like a lot of players. I say a lot of players are really awesome. Like, every time I cast MMA, I'll say this is one of the best players out there. But these are guys I just like. I'm not even sure why. I just like them. I mean, TLO, everybody likes this guy. He was really big in the early days of Starcraft 2. Going all over the place. Very, very popular. You gotta like this guy, and that is him up the top side of the map. 23 years of age, from Germany, plays for Team Liquid, and I suppose really you've got to like anybody who's not from South Korea but makes it big in StarCraft 2, because they're the underdog just from not having come from South Korea. So if they've gone out there and they've made it big, you gotta like them. And his opponent down the bottom side is Mr. StarDust. Now, Mr. StarDust, where's my mouse gone? I'll switch to the other thing. He is 24 years old, from South Korea, plays for the My Insanity team, and I like him just because one of the first big tournaments I cast was, I think, the DreamHack Open Summer or something like that, and he just came out of nowhere in that tournament and just started going toe-to-toe with Jaedong. I think he actually beat Jaedong in that tournament. It was an epic, like, 7-game series or something like that. Really fantastic, and as soon as I started casting that tournament to the end of it, I was just like, StarDust is freaking awesome, man. Now, I'll be honest, I thought at the end of that tournament that StarDust was one of the best, like one of the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. I thought he was right up the top. I've sort of changed my opinion a little bit. I've seen him win a lot of games. I've seen him lose in a lot of games. So, I'm no longer, I guess, I don't want to say anything bad about him, but I have my, you guys know I have my set, probably about 2 or 3 players of each race, which I consider to be the best of the best of the best, and StarDust, I'm going to say he's not on that list. TLO, not on that list. Those are the guys who are the best of the best of the best, and they can change around, and yes, but I still really like StarDust, and I don't know why, I just like the guy. Just after casting that DreamHack, I just happen to think he's awesome, and my mind hasn't changed since then. So it's the difference between liking them and the assessment of their playing skill as a rank between other players. It is a different sort of scale. One is my personal, how I feel about that player, and the other is my assessment of their skill. But I love both of these players. They're both my favorites, and TLO favorites because of all his tactics. StarDust just because I saw him in that tournament and he just made such an impression when I was just first starting to play. I just can't forget that. But anyway, he's going 2 base against the 3 base play, the early 3 base play of Mr. TLO, who currently does not have a Roach Warren, so he's going for Lings off the start of it, and he should be okay as long as StarDust doesn't go for a crap ton of early Zealots or something like that. We have seen that sort of play before with players. They go for a ton of early Zealots. I think it was actually against TLO. It might have been against TLO. There's some player, it was some game, I can't remember when I cast it, but it was basically some player threw like, it did like a 7 gate off 2 bases or a 4 gate off 1 base. It just threw Zealots at this guy. Boom, 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 boom. And yeah, pretty much just completely overwhelmed him. And TLO was trying to fight it off with Lings. He didn't go for a Roach Warren. He just tried to fight it off with Lings. I don't think it worked out for TLO in the end. But it does look like he's going for Roaches at this point in the game. Very, very nice. We've got a Spore Crawler there as well. So the Overlord coming in there. Not going to see any air buildings. I don't think there's a Stargate anywhere here. No, it's a Twilight Council. So the Spore Crawlers, no, not really, but yeah. I mean, Spore Crawlers, you could almost bet that there was going to be something. Actually, he's only built one at the front base, which is very interesting. Maybe it's for Dark Templar discouragement or something like that. I don't know. But StarDust going for a very, very nice third base timing. Maybe a little bit earlier than you might expect. This is not a massive map, so he might have a little bit of difficulty holding this off. But he is very, very sentry heavy, and sentries are an excellent defensive unit. So I can see why he'd be a little bit more comfortable getting that third base a little bit earlier, because he's got all of those sentries. So there we go. Look at this guy, man. He's just hiding in the shadows. The Phoenix, going to be seeing all of them, and mass roaches starting to come out. So TLO very, very happy with his 3 bases. 68 over 48. He's got to be happy about that. So StarDust doing exactly the right thing by getting a third base here. It's exactly the right move in this situation, because he needs to be able to build up a lot of stuff very fast. 3 more gateways coming out. Maybe he needs to think about getting an Immortal. I think an Immortal would be very, very good at the moment. Blink is going to be good as well. But if he's, it's going to help with the numbers game, definitely. Here we go. Force fields. Are we going to see some force fields? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's seen how many roaches there are. Back out, StarDust. Back out. This is not a battle that you want to get involved in. There's too many roaches here. They're starting to move in. Reinforcements constantly coming in. If he can keep these guys walled out, he's got a pretty decent chance. We can see he's actually pulled out a fair amount of Stalker reinforcements. So a pretty nice job there. Not that much sentries left though, and the ones that are left don't have much energy. So the reinforcements from TLO starting to twist this around a little bit. Actually going for level 2 weapons, just about finished. And now the Blink Micro is starting to come in, and with Blink Micro and level 2 weapons, StarDust is going to start to get very, very dangerous. Of course, we have said it in previous games. If you want to go mass Stalkers, go for max weapon upgrades. If you want to go for mass Zealots, go for max armor. Armor works great with Zealots. Weapons works great with Stalkers. Okay, just remember that. And yeah, it's a really, really great combination of skills to go for. So he's just going mass Stalkers at the moment. He's good against the roaches. Lings are going to be a little bit funny. He needs to get something else if TLO starts building a lot of Lings, which it looks like he is definitely thinking about doing, and some Hydras as well. And once the Hydras get out there, I think the Lings are maybe just buying a little bit of time for the Hydras to come out. Once the Hydras are out, StarDust is going to have to go up to high-tech play, and he's going to have to go up to tier 3. So yeah, tier 3 play. These guys are technically tier 1. I'd say tier 2 units, basically like Void Rays and Immortals. They're tier 2 units. Tier 3s are the High Templars, are the Colossus. So yeah, that's my definition. So these guys are technically still tier 1, and the Hydras are tier 2 units, and then Ultras and crap are tier 3. Just in case there's one person out there who didn't understand the difference. I'm sure most of you do, but yeah. There we go. Very nice cannon. He needs another pylon here, though, to protect this cannon. Hasn't quite got that up yet, and yeah, because that's in a beautiful position to have another pylon there. And then, if a bunch of Lings attack your base, what will actually happen is if somebody attack moves, they'll try and attack the cannon, but they'll just end up headbutting the buildings. Not attacking them, just sort of running into them and headbutting them. And that's all you'll get with an attack move, is somebody headbutting the buildings and getting torn apart with the cannons. It's very, very clever. And man, this pylon almost going down, so that's not good. What do we got here? A few Zealots coming in for the 4th base, which is still under development. There is one Queen, and there are a ton of roaches nearby, so not going to be a problem with defending that. Here we go, the roaches coming straight over. The Zealots are all going to die quite painfully. So there we go, and here we go, the Stalkers. They look so big once you've been in max zoom mode for like ages and stuff. So pretty intense. Here we go, the first Immortal coming out. Robotics Bay coming out as well. So he's choosing to go for Colossus to go off against the Hydras, which is a very, very nice decision. And TLO going for the Spire as well. Almost certainly going to be for Corruptors to defend against the inevitable Colossus, which I assume he has spotted the Colossus Robotics Bay. No, he has not, but here we go. Actually looking like he's going to do some funky stuff in there. Managed to get half the army, went in there, did some great work. Most of it is roaches and lings. There aren't very many hydras on the field. So the stalkers are still pretty good. They've got a big enough bunch that lings are not as much of a threat. Unless you've got 50 billion lings. Yeah, you're probably okay. But TLO, man, his macro advantage had it for the longest time. And he's really been able to push up quite high with these inexpensive units. So he still managed to get 17 hydras up. So pretty nice. What the hell just happened? How did he get 205? That's a mystery right there. I actually don't know, but I really don't know. Maybe he had some banelings morphing and he... No, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't know how he did that. But he did it. So there you go. Grats to TLO for breaking the game. Oh man, great Aspire. Wow. It's not like he can build any corruptors at the moment for obvious reasons, of course. Yeah, so let's have a look at what he's doing right here. I mean, StarDust has definitely caught up on the macro. He's got a ton right now. And it's only a matter of time before he gets his 4th base. Looks like he's thinking about it right now. He's keeping a pretty good job of watching over the middle of the base. There is a creep starting to pump out here. And StarDust has mainly been going up this sort of arena down here, this sort of road. So, yeah, he's going to have to watch this left side because the creep is starting to get out of control. Bunch of lings coming out are going to be able to see this pylon. And suddenly, StarDust has to be a little bit worried, but morphing in some zealots straight away should be able to take care of that. He may be thinking it's a precursor to a major invasion, so he does move his army a little bit over, but not far enough to really have to worry about it. Where are those zealots? The zealots went back there. Not a lot of lings, but some hydras and some roaches coming back to sort of defend it, and StarDust needs to pounce on these guys right there. He's putting out, getting out a little bit easier there, and TLO has made a significant mistake. Depending on how you look at it, he's got to lose all of these units, no doubt about it, but at the same time he forces this base to get cancelled. So very, very nice, pulling these guys out of position, moving in with the other half of his army. Meanwhile, a bunch of zealots come in here, but there are some spine crawlers, so TLO, not a bad move there, not a bad move, and his main army needs to move over there and kind of save this base. Losing the 4th base, okay, that's probably okay, considering he did kill quite a few units. Losing the 3rd base, I don't think that's acceptable right here. I think if he loses this base and TLO manages to get out of there, then TLO has taken quite a significant victory, and I don't think the StarDust is going to be happy about that at all. His zealots have gone in. They have killed a bunch of stuff, but they're still taking care of the spines right here. Zealots coming in as well. So he's seeing that he's probably taken a bit of a dump right here in terms of his playstyle, but there we go, actually dividing the retreating army with some nice blink micro to get in there nice and close. So he has taken out a bit more units, and he needs to get his bases up ASAP. So he's building these guys. He's destroyed the 4th base, so StarDust clawing his way back into the game. He's not going to let TLO keep any sort of advantage, and here we go. Colossus in a fairly nice position. They can't get flanked from this position. They're a beautiful chokehold. The Vipers are coming in, and oh, hallucinated Colossus out the front. Very, very nice. And the Colossus, yeah, doing a pretty good job. I don't think any actual Colossus died there. There was just one hallucinated. Oh, StarDust, what are you doing? You dodgy, dodgy bastard. That is not where that Colossus goes. And that one mistake is going to give TLO the heart to sort of move in. The Vipers, the Vipers not quite able to yank a Colossus, but one did go down to sheer DPS. And StarDust now thinking about moving out. Now he's going to back off. And a very, very wise decision it is to back off right there, because he was in way over his head once the army started chasing him. Just did not have enough to really have a go of it. And TLO deciding to go for all the crazy tier 3 units he can. We have Broodlords, we have Ultras, and he's just going to throw as many different types of units he can as he can at StarDust, and just say, look, you try and counter all of these guys, alright? You can't do it because I got like 10 different types of units, so there we go. Although the Ultras aren't going to have any sort of attack bonus. Oh, they got 1 attack, but yeah, these guys have the main attack, so that's the downside of getting diversification in your army, is that the upgrades don't really transfer all that well. But did we have a DT somewhere? I think we did. I saw him building a Dark Shrine. There he is, still building it, so I guess he hasn't built anything yet. Oh, the 5th base. No, that's going to go down. No way in hell that StarDust can save this. But, oh, beautiful timing from TLO. Actually, StarDust didn't cancel that, which I'm very, very surprised on. StarDust, why didn't you cancel that? He's building Tempests. He, maybe he left it up to actually see what units were coming to attack it. And he would have seen all of the units, so he would have seen the Ultras, he would have seen the Broodlords, and that was it's nice. So maybe he sacked his Nexus to actually get a look at all those units, which the Ultras are stuck behind the Fat Queen, man. That is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, these things do happen, so... 5th base going down for StarDust, but I don't really think he needed a 5th base anyway. Where is your Overseer? Or not Overseer, Observer? Why do I always get those confused? It's so embarrassing. But Zell's continuing to move in. TLO continuing to build a ton of Spine Crawlers. And continuing to build a 5th base all the way out in the front, man. This is just begging to be destroyed by StarDust. He's going to go in there. He's going to own it. So there we go. Interesting. So we got Tempest out. The Ultras, I'm not sure how much of an Ultra defense he's got. He's got 2 Immortals, building 2 more. He's already got 3 weapons, so this is really, really going to pound the Ultras out. So I think he might be okay. He's got the Tempest, he's got the Ultras, so he's got the counters for the new units. Colossus, yeah, there is a very decent amount of Hydras in there, so it's going to come down to Colossus versus Hydra. I think once again, the Colossus getting out in front. Going to be a little bit worried. And the Zerg army is going to be running for it. They don't like the amount of DPS they were seeing in that battle. 1 Ultra has gone down. Another one very, very close to being destroyed. And StarDust is moving in. I don't know, man. Any army without a ton of Zealots just looks weak to me. I mean, I know it's not true. I know this is a very strong army. But I just love seeing those Zealots. It feels like... the Stalkers without Zealots are just completely open to attack, but oh, it's a nice DPS, just misses out on that Broodlord, but it's very, very close. Finally got an Observer in there, we're taking him out. Oh, this is dangerous, all those guys getting trapped on the narrow ramp. And here we go, the flank coming in, TLO hitting from all sides, and StarDust is like an island in the middle of this. Well, it's not really a sea of Zerg, the Zerg are actually not numbered that highly, and they're just getting less and less and less, and the Immortals just going to town. They're great versus Roaches, didn't you know? And just doing an amazing amount of DPS to everything. So TLO, I think, is fighting an uphill battle, and I do not think he's going to get back up there. I think he's going down. I think this is it, and I think that StarDust has taken the game right here. There's just not enough left, and I mean, look at StarDust. He's up to 70 workers. It's very, very hard to fight a Protoss player on 4 bases who has 70 workers, because they just go absolutely mental on everything, and it's not pretty, man. It's not pretty. So I gotta say, TLO, he should never have let StarDust get to that point, get to the point where he is on happily mining like 4 setup bases, 70 workers. I mean, we did see him get in and do a nice snipe of this base, but that was very, very tough for him to get in there. And we never saw him attack this base at any point. So TLO, I mean, he had a good army, but he had Broodlords and Ultras. You could not think of a worse combination of units to be harassing the enemy's economy. It is just bad. It's bad, bad, bad news. You only bring up those units if you just going to have a huge army. It's just going to take everything out. And TLO still had too many Roaches in his army to have enough to just completely obliterate everything, because Roaches kind of not all that good at the end game. They're okay, but when there's this many Colossus and Ultras, they're just basically filler, and they're not really doing too much. So TLO couldn't have an exceptionally big... I mean, you really need like a focused army, like mass Broodlord Corruptor, something like that, or mass Ultra with Hydras backing them up in a bunch of Infestors and stuff like that. Something crazy. TLO just had a bit of everything, and it wasn't really strong enough in one place. You really got to have a strong army in one place. StarDust had a bit of everything as well, but his core was those Blink Stalkers with the Colossus backed up, and they did their job. They did an excellent job. Stalkers with 3 attack. I've said it once, so I'll say it again. Actually, I've said it a few times, but I'll say it again. Stalkers with 3 attack, so strong. Whereas the Roaches, they got 2-2, the Ultras didn't have much. The air didn't have any upgrades. It's way too fragmented, and there was nothing to really knock back that incredible macro that StarDust pulled out at the second half of the game. That needed to be owned. He needed to send in a bunch of lings with at least 2 upgrades in here to start owning it. He needed to double team this base and this base. He needed to skim some in. He needed to find out when the army was over there and skim in some lings over here, start taking them out. Skim in some lings here, start taking out tech structures. Mutas, meh, I don't know. I can understand not going for mutas, but I don't know, just something, man. Get some lings in there, start harassing them, start making StarDust think more about keeping on the back foot, because StarDust really was out there doing awesome stuff. But anyway, that has been your game. That has been our game, I suppose. I own part of it too, since I casted it, so it's not just your game, it's our game. And I hope you enjoyed it. So there we go. Great game. I'll catch you guys tomorrow with another one. Stay tuned for that.